It's based on a beautiful, really important book, and it's about a young woman named Lily who confronts the generational cycles in her life.
And find my way back to center. That is one thing I can assure you of. And I'm sorry I made you feel that way. That must have felt terrible.
So it's a bit of a tough adjustment in our house, but it's good. I mean, I have two other daughters, so my oldest is very into the baby, but my middle child, not so much.
A fresh wave of controversy has swept through Hollywood due to the sudden leak of what is claimed to be a secretly recorded phone call, apparently shared by someone within Justin Baldoni's camp. According to various insiders and media outlets, the recording captures a tense exchange between Baldoni and an unknown contact, in which Baldoni accuses Blake Lively of orchestrating a scheme to undermine him on a film project they had once jointly supported. The release of this audio has heightened an already convoluted public clash between Lively and Baldoni, promising an unfiltered glimpse into the covert strategies each side may have been employing. Several months ago, Lively and Baldoni were poised to craft a heartfelt film adaptation of a best-selling novel. The source material is celebrated for its focus on personal development and compassion, and excitement was palpable as soon as it was revealed that Baldoni would direct and co-produce, with Lively in the starring role. Although Lively's husband, Reynolds, did not officially join as a producer, rumors suggested he had input on everything from comedic undertones to promotional efforts, especially in the early stages of script development. Initially, fans of the book and followers of the stars were thrilled. Then creative rifts began to trickle into the public sphere. Baldoni was intent on upholding the novel's emotional essence, emphasizing the main character's modest economic status and significant life hurdles. Lively, on the other hand, was rumored to prefer a modernized angle, convinced that comedic elements and upscale fashion would entice contemporary viewers. Disagreements intensified until Lively lodged a formal complaint, claiming her feedback was overlooked. Baldoni countered by releasing text exchanges and production logs that, in his view, illustrated how Lively had actually been integral to shaping the movie, even enthusiastic at times, contradicting her assertions of being marginalized. He then initiated a substantial defamation suit, reportedly seeking hundreds of millions of dollars, insisting that Lively's remarks had not only damaged his standing, but also imperiled the film's commercial potential. Amid this simmering distrust and public bickering emerged the sensational development of a leaked phone recording. Early stories indicate the audio came from Baldoni's side, seemingly to bolster his contention that Lively instigated many of the disagreements and set him up as the antagonist. Individuals claiming to have heard the audio describe agitated voices, with Baldoni detailing decisions made to accommodate Lively, only for her to later assert publicly that she had been sidelined or disregarded. The call implies Baldoni felt betrayed by what he perceived as Lively's broader plan to transfer blame onto him and control the narrative.
A lot of it's my real-life clothes or my husband's clothes or my girlfriend Gigi's clothes. I was borrowing some...
Wait, that's kind of amazing. So you have something of Gigi's in the movie.
Yeah, it's like a wedding, like something old, something borrowed, something blue, something new.
Wait, which one?
It's just...
Now I want to think of the scene.
Oh, I'm wearing her stuff all over it.
Oh, really?
And tons of like Bodhi, which is with the suit now that I'm wearing is Bodhi. It was meant for my husband, but I borrowed it.
His suit?
It was meant for him to wear, but it's so pretty. Look at it. You guys are not getting it in the shot.
And I'm excited to have a creative partner in that with you. And it's just really exciting. There's so much more to say. There's so much I want to say. Oh, and there's one thing that I do need to say, which is I am so sorry you have been through what you've been through with these other filmmakers and producers or whoever the people were that you worked with. It just pissed me off. Those that I'm just still kind of blown away that this is the industry that we're in and that you've experienced that as a woman. And I know I don't need to say it, but that's not at all going to be or will be, and hopefully it's not been the experience with me. There's nothing more exciting to me like that I get to work with Blake Lively and have her, all of her. I mean, that's what I want. And so there's been no hesitancy with me sending you the final draft file. I am totally fine with that. The only reason I didn't send it today was because I was trying to implement and add your notes into my working draft, which is already like I'm all over that draft right now. So there's a whole bunch of new stars that are going to be collated pages. And I just haven't had a chance to send it to you.
Although the full contents of the recording remain unreleased, industry buzz focuses on a few crucial passages that may prove especially revealing. One such excerpt reportedly involves Baldoni recalling a scenario where Lively pushed for more comedic rewrites, then later criticized him for steering the film away from the novel's deeper emotional resonance. In the leaked dialogue, Baldoni allegedly contends that Lively prodded him to adopt these changes, likely reflecting her husband's comedic flair, yet ultimately leveraged the ensuing friction to reinforce her official complaint against him. If accurate, these details would challenge the account Lively presented to the press, instead suggesting she carefully orchestrated the conflict. The legal ramifications could be significant. If the phone call demonstrates that Lively deliberately manipulated events, it may bolster Baldoni's defamation claim. Defamation lawsuits often hinge on whether a person intentionally spread falsehoods or did so without regard for truth. Should the audio suggest that Lively was, at least partially, crafting situations that she then used as public grievances, Baldoni's legal team would seize upon it as proof of calculated misrepresentation. Nonetheless, Lively's camp will likely question the recording's authenticity, completeness, and the manner in which it was obtained. They might even argue that Baldoni's own conduct left her no viable option but to escalate tensions. Fueling speculation further is the unclear origin of the leak. A representative for Baldoni has neither confirmed nor denied that his team deliberately circulated the tape. Some believe Baldoni's attorney may have strategically unveiled it to pressure Lively into a settlement or to drop certain allegations. Others suspect a rogue insider might be seeking notoriety or profit, using the recording to fan the flames of controversy yet again. Regardless, the mere existence of a recording, seemingly spotlighting Lively setting up Baldoni, has prompted fresh waves of scrutiny within the entertainment press. Industry watchers note that the fallout extends beyond the two stars themselves. Several producers and financial backers already felt uneasy as hostilities escalated, concerned that a large-budget adaptation could be overshadowed by internal discord, making it a challenge to market to mainstream audiences. With the suggestion of a taped call portraying Lively as instigating or orchestrating conflict, there is apprehension that the scandal will intensify, potentially undermining trust not just in the movie's prospects, but in the reliability of the main players for future ventures. Meanwhile, fans are left parsing two divergent narratives. Certain communities side with Lively, painting her as an innovative thinker who advocated a fresh, contemporary spin, but was stonewalled in an industry that often resists an actor's input.
I mean, honestly, the way that I get into a character is through their style. So it was more about who Lily is that was so fascinating to me, is that she's a walking, talking contradiction, yet it's perfectly harmonious for her.
And find my way back to center. That is one thing I can assure you of. And I'm sorry I made you feel that way. That must have felt terrible. And I will for sure do better. That was not my best weekend, and I should have given it more time. And damn right, you got great friends if that's how you felt and they knew that. And we should all have friends like that, aside from the fact that they're two of the most creative people on the planet. The three of you guys together, it's unbelievable. Talk about energy and just a force, all three of you. But I just wanted you to know that I didn't need that, because it's really good and it's going to make the movie sing like you said, and I'm excited to go through the whole movie with you. I'm just excited to spend time with you. I'm excited to be in your sphere and your presence, and for us to share creative juices together, although that sounds terrible. I think you and I have been trying to build a relationship, which I think we've done successfully. I mean, here we are.
Others back Baldoni, arguing Lively realized that experimental comedic choices didn't sit well with loyal readers of the novel, then made him the scapegoat to protect her reputation. Reports of the leaked call claiming she engineered a setup fit neatly with the latter viewpoint, inciting Lively supporters to accuse Baldoni of leveraging partial or misrepresented proof. Another dimension is provided by Ryan Reynolds' position in the background. Although he was never officially part of the producing team, he is thought to have weighed in on comedic beats that could broaden the movie's appeal. Baldoni believes these comedic touches diminish the story's emotional substance. From Lively's standpoint, Reynolds' contributions were beneficial and aligned with current entertainment trends. Still, if the phone call implicates Reynolds as part of a broader scheme to undermine Baldoni's creative direction, It could reignite speculations about tension between Reynolds and Baldoni, possibly lending credence to theories that neither party has been fully transparent about each other's involvement. Complicating matters is the talk of a globally famous singer, rumored to be close with Lively, who might have contributed revisions to certain scenes. Some in Baldoni's circle suspect this pushed the script in a more comedic and fashion-oriented direction, at odds with the serious tone of the original novel. But now, with the phone call at the forefront of discussion, the angle involving the singer has taken a back seat. Insiders predict any suggestion of celebrity collaborators influencing the script will likely be overshadowed by the more provocative implication that Lively actively choreographed incidents to depict Baldoni as insensitive or dismissive. Questions also surround the precise timing of the leak. Some speculate that Baldoni's camp chose this moment because public sympathy had been swinging in Lively's favor, particularly following her highly publicized complaint about feeling unheard. A strategically timed leak, skeptics argue, could shift the conversation by casting suspicion on Lively and implying she orchestrated the entire conflict. Yet others dismiss that idea, proposing that the leak might not have been planned and could be the work of someone on the production looking to incite further turmoil. Without confirmation about who leaked it or why, conjecture will continue to swirl. As all of this unfolds, both sides' legal teams are diligently collecting evidence. Lively's attorneys will want to examine the reliability of the phone call. Was Baldoni actually the voice on the tape? Who was he speaking to? Did the discussion genuinely revolve around Lively's supposed plan, or could it have been edited to imply that? Audio material can be cut or rearranged, losing context in the process.
I was testing for a show that ended up actually getting picked up and doing very well, and I was one of two people maybe, and then I get a call from my managers and my agent. They were both on the line, which means it's something serious.
Right.
Either you got the job or there's something wrong.
Yeah.
And they said, so you were the choice, but the network said that your eyebrows would be too distracting.
Oh, what?
Oh no.
And then they went like, so what can we do about your eyebrows?
I for sure fell short, and you worked really hard on that, and the way you framed it, and how that made you feel. I just want to say thank you for sharing that with me. That takes a lot of trust and vulnerability, and I feel really grateful that you feel safe enough to tell me that that's how you feel and share that with me. And I'm really sorry. I f***ed up. That is a fail on my part. One thing you should know about me is I will admit and apologize when I fail. I am far from perfect. I am a very flawed man, as my wife will attest. And and I'm gonna f*** up. I'm gonna say the wrong thing. I'm gonna put my foot in my mouth. I'm gonna piss you off, probably, but I will always apologize.
So it's likely that Lively's side will aim to prevent it from being used in court. Even if it is admitted, its significance and authenticity may still be hotly debated. Meanwhile, Baldoni's lawyers will likely argue that the recording represents a candid glimpse at events outside of any public relations spin, exposing Lively's true intentions. Reported details of the call also raise legal concerns over privacy and consent. Rules regarding recorded conversations differ depending on jurisdiction. If Baldoni recorded Lively with her knowledge, that is one scenario. If it was done surreptitiously, admissibility could be called into question. It's also uncertain if Lively was actually the other party on the line. Perhaps the person Baldoni spoke to was an associate or shared contact, which introduces more variables. Was that individual simply relaying rumors? And does it genuinely show Lively plotting anything? If the unidentified speaker was referencing Lively's activities, it might constitute hearsay unless Lively herself corroborated her intentions. Throughout this ordeal, Lively remains under intense media scrutiny for her public persona. Known for her refined presence and humor in interviews and on social platforms, she has carefully cultivated a brand that resonates with many fans. Any notion that she masterminded a dispute to expand her creative influence or control her public narrative could harm that cultivated image. Conversely, if the phone call proves inconclusive, lacking clear evidence of wrongdoing, it could reinforce her complaint that Baldoni has selectively released bits of information to deflect accountability. Baldoni, for his part, also faces enormous stakes. His defamation lawsuit depends on proving that Lively knowingly made false or grossly misleading claims that harmed his professional reputation. If the leaked phone call supports his assertion that Lively stoked controversy for her own benefit, it may become a turning point in the litigation, strengthening Baldoni's position considerably. But if his accusations fail to withstand scrutiny, or if the leaked recording is deemed inadmissible or irrelevant, Baldoni might come across as resorting to sensational tactics to sway public opinion. That could damage his own credibility and weaken his ability to convince a judge and the public that he's been unjustly maligned. Those involved in producing the film adaptation find themselves in a difficult position, striving to salvage the project. Their interest lies in resolving the dispute expeditiously, since drawn-out conflict and negative press can alienate potential audiences, especially if it distracts from the meaningful themes that made the novel successful in the first place. Some observers worry the film might never come to fruition if Lively and Baldoni cannot mend fences.
She said, just read it, because I was looking for movies that could be commercial and speak to the human experience. And
Were you reading romance novels?
And I had never read a romance novel.
Never?
And she said, just trust me, read it. So I read it, and by the end of the book, I couldn't even read the text on the page because I was crying so much. My wife was in bed next to me, and she's, I got snot coming out of my nose.
Talking like this, me into my phone at 2 a.m, but largely via text and voice note. And I will be honest with you, that is not my biggest strength. I love being with people and being in somebody's space and being face to face, and I feel like that's where I excel, and definitely fallen short at times in our text and voice note exchanges because there's so much to communicate and there's so much happening, and all that to say, I'm just really looking forward to spending time together. And I think that's going to really go a long way for our chemistry, which I believe is there and has been there from the start. So I was so damn excited when you wanted to do this film. I felt it in the room when we met, and yeah, I think it does come from the both of us being hardworking and having a vision and not settling.
Or if the persistent scandal discourages potential distributors, a movie under such a shadow can be a hard sell, no matter how eager fans initially were. Readers of the novel, initially excited to see characters they love portrayed by these renowned figures, have grown increasingly disappointed. Many have taken to social media to express dismay that drama and miscommunication now loom over a story celebrated for its core messages of empathy and emotional healing. People who cherish the book's reflections on kindness and personal growth see an ironic twist in how the project has devolved into public disputes. A few have launched petitions or online movements urging both stars to redirect their attention to completing the film rather than continuing to trade allegations in the press. Speculation also abounds regarding Ryan Reynolds' reaction to the leaked phone call. If the conversation clearly implicates him or implies he collaborated in setting Baldoni up, it could aggravate tensions between Reynolds and Baldoni. Observers recall that rumors of friction between the two circulated recently, tied to Reynolds' alleged push for comedic rewrites that conflicted with Baldoni's more earnest approach. Did Lively and Reynolds coordinate their efforts to steer the movie in a fresh direction, potentially sidelining Baldoni? Or are these suggestions merely stoking another round of conspiratorial chatter? Legal commentators stress that recorded phone evidence can be complex. One party may perceive a statement as malicious, while the other insists it was innocuous or taken out of context. Tone, historical context, and references to earlier discussions all shape how a conversation is interpreted. If this leak stands alone and there is no concrete documentation that Lively deliberately sought to trap Baldoni, Baldoni may merely raise doubts rather than deliver a definitive blow. However, in the realm of public opinion, casting doubt can be potent, particularly when it breathes new life into a story that might otherwise be losing steam. Some believe this fresh surge of controversy could lead to further disclosures. A single leaked recording often sets off a chain reaction. Each side might release new material or counter-arguments, triggering a cycle of revelations. This risks escalating the negative publicity for the project, compounding worries that reconciliation may be unachievable unless a tightly orchestrated private deal is reached. A settlement could very well hinge on whether this phone call undermines Lively's credibility. If it does indeed harm her standing, she might be more open to settling rather than facing a highly public trial in which her supposed schemes could be subjected to intense scrutiny. If the call appears ambiguous or inconclusive, though, Lively might double down, arguing Baldoni is misrepresenting events to salvage his own claims. In either case, the adaptation's future hangs in the balance.
But there's no hesitancy. I'm happy to send it to you. And I'm sorry that has happened to you before. And I hope after this experience there will be a new, I don't know, I hope it'll be healing in some way. Because that's all I want. I want this movie to be healing. I want this movie to be commercial, just like you, and affect people and touch people. And I want to walk you through my whole plan and the work that we're doing with the domestic violence partner that we found, No More, and just my vision. And I just know that this can be really, really special, and it's going to be special. And you're the secret sauce, and we're the secret sauce. And anyways, I have so much more to say. I'm going to stop rambling because, Jesus Christ, it's been 6 minutes and 30 seconds, so me. I'm sorry. You probably have kids all over you and a baby on your boob, and you're listening to me ramble at 2 in the morning. I hope you're feeling better, and give Ryan my love. Thank you for sending me that. It means the world to me that you trust me with your feelings and your thoughts like that. And I can't wait to spend more time with you. Okay, I'm done. Cutting myself off. Good night.
It's a bit of a tough adjustment in our house, but it's good. I mean, I have two other daughters, so my oldest is very into the baby, but my middle child, not so much. But we're thinking of keeping her.
Does she like play with her? What does she think?
Well, she sort of like pretends to play with her. So like in the beginning, our oldest is like loving on her, and she's like very maternal, and then our middle daughter is just keeps away from her.
A prolonged or embittered resolution is likely to dampen enthusiasm for completing or marketing the film. For now, Hollywood is buzzing over whether this phone call is truly a groundbreaking revelation or merely another episode in a sequence already marked by gargantuan lawsuits, creative disputes, alleged intervention by influential acquaintances, and speculation of personal rivalries. If the recording does indeed depict Lively actively concocting a setup, it could profoundly reshape both public perception and legal proceedings. On the other hand, it may be just another perplexing puzzle piece, needing far more context before it can decisively affect the case. The turmoil exemplifies the dangers of blending star power with sensitive creative endeavors. Any large-scale film production can breed contention among directors, actors, and producers, especially when opinions clash over budget, thematic fidelity, or how to appeal to fans. With marquee names like Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, and Ryan Reynolds, each with a distinctive brand and huge following, the likelihood of private disputes spilling into the public sphere increases dramatically. In this instance, the emergence of a purported recording that hints at orchestrated manipulation elevates ordinary Hollywood tensions into a high-stakes saga rife with accusations of betrayal. In the end, only time and verifiable proof will clarify whether Baldoni was genuinely ambushed. If the leak genuinely confirms that Lively orchestrated key flashpoints, it could change the trajectory of the court case, backing up many of Baldoni's claims. However, if the audio is incomplete or falls short of showing genuine wrongdoing, it may simply highlight the deep-rooted suspicion that has festered between the two. The phone call itself could potentially spur a call for settlement talks, since neither side appears to gain by continuing a public volley of damaging disclosures. For those who have watched the dispute unfold from the beginning, the concept of an audio leak unmasking calculated drama feels both startling and unsurprising.
Hey, Blake. It is 2 in the morning. Hopefully this does not wake you up. Whew. Wow. There's so much I want to say to you, and I hope that we can FaceTime or see each other in person soon and get to talk more. But I'm just going to send you a few thoughts, and hopefully it's not going to be more than a few minutes. But that I don't have the best track record. I don't think either one of us have the best track record for our voice memos. I want to start with an apology. Man, reading the second part of your message, my heart sank, and I'm really sorry.
We always tease each other. He was, after I gave birth, he was like, oh my gosh, if I lost you and I, went to the park with our 3 kids, I mean, think of the ladies I can. This is a horrible thing to say. And he's like, I mean, I've got a long list. And I was like, oh, really? Because I just have one on my list. I didn't have anyone on my list.
And then it wasn't funny anymore.
No, it's so much more of a burn. He's like, wait, who? And I was like, okay.
and he's
Think of
guessing.
someone. Think of someone. Bob Newhart. I don't know.
Hollywood is no stranger to recordings, some unveiled intentionally, others by accident, that influence the public narrative. In this ongoing feud, it remains to be seen whether the phone call represents solid evidence or just inflames tensions. What is certain is that it has reignited interest in the saga, capturing attention in an industry drawn to spectacle, even at the cost of potentially derailing an otherwise promising film. Whether the adaptation will ever be completed, or if it is, whether it can transcend these allegations, is anyone's guess. The same uncertainty applies to the relationships among Lively, Baldoni, and Reynolds. As both sides weigh the personal, professional, and legal stakes of the leak, the public watches, fascinated yet somewhat disillusioned, that a film meant to bring to life a beloved novel has been consumed by rumored conspiracies, explosive leaks, and contentious finger-pointing. The phone call at the center of it serves as a stark reminder that in Hollywood, secrets rarely remain hidden, and once exposed, they can reshape a narrative and the futures of those involved, sometimes irreversibly.